What's up, Couscous Empire? Today I'm going to do a video on the newly released Dark Brawly deck and my thoughts on it. But before I do that, I want to let you guys know I will be posting a deck list link in the description below. But before you go ahead and click on it, just like that link helps you out, it would help me out a lot if you continue watching the video. You could just leave me running in the background if you want, put me on mute, whatever you want to do, man. But it would definitely help me out big time. Also, I now have a TCG Player link below in the description. So if you're going to place orders on TCG Player and get some cards, go ahead and click that link below. You could search for whatever you want and order it afterwards. You click the link and I'll get a small referral bonus from that, and that would also help out the channel big time. So I would really appreciate it if you guys could do that for me. So Dark Brawly, let's take a look. It was one of those decks that just kind of came out and every single card had an SA worth of effects on it, and I just straight up ignored it. But it turns out it's actually pretty good. Let's take a quick look at the leader effect. Activate main, add one card from your life to your hand and look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck. Place up to 3 black battle cards with 30k power among them and place them in your drop area. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck. Then when this card attacks, draw 1 card. When you're at 4 life or less, you may draw 2 and flip this card over. So it's not an untap 2 leader, it's a draw 2, and you get to self-awaken from your activate main and you have to swing to draw a card. This is all going to come into play together with the rest of the deck and how they synergize together. But the Awakened side says place 3 black battle cards with 30k power from your warp to the drop, so spring them back, and then you draw 1. So it does not have to swing to draw 1 card, which is pretty nice. So you don't have to worry about getting Zamasu super comboed or Nimbus or Topoed, anything like that. Then the Activate Battle, choose 1 black battle card with 30k power in your hand or battle area, place it in a drop. Then this card gets 5k power for the battle. So you're gonna see all the 30k Brawly cards, they all have 0 combo power, so it's a way to protect the leader. You're just gonna pitch those with the Activate Battle to get yourself 5k power. So the Mulligan strategies are to get your 1-drop Brawly and the 7-star balls into your hand no matter what. These will be the easiest way for you to play your big boy Brawlies. On top of that, I kind of noticed that you don't want to have your big boy Brawlies in your hand from the opening, so you kind of want to send them back to the deck because you're going to end up searching for them and placing them into play. So make sure you guys get rid of those cards. Keep the 1-drop Brawly, the 7-star, the Dark Star Ball, and any type of Toas that you get. So the core engine of the deck, and in my opinion, the staples for this deck are these 20 cards here. Toas are kind of like the oil to the engine. They really get the deck going. Dark Aura Deluge lets you pop one of your 30k Brawlies and bring another one back from your discard to your hand. So the reason why this is really good is because all the Brawlies have unique. So you're going to play all your Brawlies and you want to get rid of them from the battle area so you could replay them afterwards. So Toa lets you do that, which is really, really nice. The other Union of Magic and Science Toa lets you fix your hand by searching for the Dark Star Ball if you don't have it. So that's also pretty good. Then you have the kind of standard Brawly line, and these are all very situational to play. And one of the strengths of the decks is that you get to pick and choose which one you want to play based on what you need. So that's really nice. After the 20 card core, the deck kind of starts becoming a little flexible, but also really tight at the same time. You don't have too much space. You definitely want to play with 50 cards in my opinion to keep the consistency going. But I have been testing out this 5 negate package with Protector of the People and Power Burst. You kind of want some negates for the mirror match. You know, red Brawlies are popular, or just other decks that could attack tall, maybe even the mirror match, right? So I have some negates in there. Mekikabura, the Broken Seal, it's been an MVP card for me. I love this card. It's so fun to play. It's also very devastating to play. We kind of all assumed this card would be a very defensive sideboard card when we saw it, but you can actually play this really offensively too. I mean, when your opponent leaves 2 red energy open and you have a white board, you know they're going to topo you, right? But no, you slam that Mekikabura down, you call topo, and now they can't play topo, and all your 30ks are swinging in for game and your opponent just can't do anything about it. That same logic works against blue when they play Trunks Heroic Prospects on you, or let's say the Gohan Baby Negate on you. So I love Mekikabura. It's so fun to play. On top of that, you get to add a Dark Star Ball from your deck to your hand. So it also brings you one of those in case you didn't have a Toa. So it's overall a really good fit for the deck. I like it as a 2-of. Might potentially bump it up, but that's kind of where we're at right now. Mass Saiyan Brainwash No More is another great utility card that gives you that cheese defense that I love. I love being cheesy and stealing wins, and that's what this card allows you to do. Even though he's an overwhelm card, the main purpose of it is to use the activate battle, which says take 1 life, and then for the rest of the battle you can't take any more damage. So all the double strikes, all the triple strikes that come into you, you could just pay 1 black energy. You take 1 life instead of 2 or 3. It gives you an opportunity to cheese your opponent. If your opponent's thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna win by swinging with this, you know, triple striker for game, or I'm gonna swing with Cell Xeno for game and deal that quad strike damage. Nope. It's really good against those type of situations, and it could definitely catch your opponent off guard, you know, even if your opponent's a great player. Take a look at this clip from my stream last night playing against Danny Wynn himself. That's pretty sad. Man, so you guys really depend on buying them from like on the market, and then when they first come out, you messed up, Danny, you lost.
Oh no, I remember now. No.
You lost, Danny.
Oh, I forgot. Oh,
I'll take 1.
Oh my god.
Champa is another utility card that I really love in this deck. Being able to swing with a 30k body and then slamming a Champa on it to give it 40k double strike just for 2 cards, it feels really good. I mean, your opponent's going to have to combo a lot of cards out of their hand to stop that attack, and even if they do combo out of it, they put themselves in a losing situation because they just lost so many cards from their hand to do that. So I really like Champa in the Dark Brawly decks. I think it's a phenomenal way to close games. The overwhelm slots have been working out pretty good for me. Sometimes we can't finish the game with just 30k single strike swings, so we need that, you know, extra juice, right? And that's what the overwhelm is for. Bardock Combat Instincts is a deadly card that's been performing so well for me. You just pay 3 black energy, get rid of 2 cards from their hand, and it has dual attack 30k, so you're swinging with not only all the 30ks that you already had from your Brawlies, but 2 more 30ks with this overwhelm card. Yes, it does not have deflect or barrier, so it is a little bit vulnerable, but think of it this way too. If your opponent played a unison on turn 2 or turn 3, then that means they're kind of already behind in board state. So you're just adding in even more pressure to them. I would definitely try not to use this overwhelm against blue decks because they could play the Trunks counterplay and just kind of totally make you waste that 3 energy. But against any other deck, it's extremely good, even against green. So let's assume this scenario. Let's say you play it against green and they play the Frieza counterplay to kill it. Your auto makes them pitch 2 cards. So you made them pitch 2. They played a Frieza to get rid of your body, so they technically lost 3 cards from their hand. You know, even if that Frieza is on the board, you got that hand knowledge from them that they lost 3 cards. And that Frieza is only a 5k combo power, which is definitely not going to be too critical when you swing with 30k at a time with all the other bodies you have on board. And on top of that, you might even be able to bait that play out and then play the Brawly to kill that Frieza, make them waste that, you know, card from their hand as well. So it's really good against all sorts of colors. Against blue, I would probably shy away from it though. Mira is generally a cheap overwhelm option that kind of draws you 1 and is a double strike closer. Very simple, 1 energy play. It ends a lot of games for me. It's usually the way I close the game. Fu Shrouded is situational, but in case some games go kind of late to that point, it's, you know, a game ender, right? You play that and you pretty much win the game, because by 6 energy they should be at 2 life regardless. So the strengths of the deck: big boy attacks, you know, 30k swings every turn is pretty much a guaranteed hit. If your opponent decides to combo out of them, they're gonna waste about 3 to 5 cards from their hand, so they can only afford to do that so many times in a game, right? You're probably going to do that once or twice. Then you have the consistent effects. You can search and play a Brawly based on whatever effect you need. Do you want to make them pitch a card? Then get the Ravager Brawly. Do you need to block or have some defense? Get the blocker. You want to warp a battle card that's in play because it's going to give you some headaches? Then bring out that Brawly. So you have all the options in the world. I like it because you're searching from your deck to play them or playing them from your drop. It gives you a pretty consistent way to pick and choose whatever effect you want. The hand size is irrelevant. I know that sounds kind of weird, but from my playtesting, it's proven to me that the hand size is not that important because a lot of your cards get played from the drop area, so you don't need them in your hand. And then all the cards are 30k to begin with, so that's a lot of power already behind them. So the hand size is definitely not as critical as other decks are. You could totally end the game with having like only 3-4 cards in your hand to their 6-7. The weaknesses of this deck are that it's extremely predictable. As we saw, like 20 of the deck's cards are the main engine, right? And everybody knows what they do. They know it's coming. They look at your drop area, they see what you can play. When you play the Dark Star Ball, they know which one's going to come out based on what's the best effect. So your opponent knows pretty much what's going to come down based on what you have on the board, how many Toas you have, how many ways you could pop your own battle cards, so on, so on. So it's a very predictable deck, but that's the only kind of weakness to it. Then there's a dead turn potential. So kind of following off the thought of the predictability, sometimes your unique cards get in the way and you have no way to pop your existing battle cards. For example, you could have Ravager on the board and then just like 2 more Ravagers in your drop area, so you can't really play it because you can't pop your Ravager. So sometimes you're just stuck with no plays. And on top of that, sometimes your opponent might negate your attack, so you can't use your leader activate battle to pop the in-play Ravager, giving you this awkward turns that you really can't do anything. You can't control a wide board. That is one of Brawly's biggest weaknesses, is that you could warp battle cards one at a time, but when your opponent goes wide, it gives you another awkward scenario where you have to debate swinging into their battle cards or swinging at their leader. Most of the time it's better to swing at their leader because that 30k swing is going to waste when you're trying to kill like a little 15k attacker, right? So it gives you this awkward situation of your opponent's board getting too big, and if they have the defenses to stop you, their crackback swing is going to hurt you big time. So that's one of the weaknesses I noticed of the deck, where you can't really control those decks that go wide. Fortunately though, not too many decks do that right now. The final grade for me is to give it a B with an A- curve. And what does that mean? Well, by that I mean that if the pilot of the deck is good, this deck has potential to be a very powerful deck. I think it's important to have that player instincts to know when to go all out or when to wait a turn. You gotta know what Brawly effects to use at what times. You need to know when to use your leader effect, when to use your Toa. The pilot really matters for this deck. I personally am not that great with it, to be honest, but I've seen some really good players play it where they just completely destroy you. So I think with the right pilot, this deck will be a A- or even higher. But overall, I'm keeping a very close eye to the deck. I think it's very decent. I don't feel as comfortable taking it to a tournament myself. I don't think I am there, but that does not mean the deck is not good. The deck is definitely very, very strong. So that's gonna be it for my deck profile video. Thank you all for watching it. I will be posting a gameplay video of this deck profile, the hyperbolic version of it, where we get 3 games in 10 minutes. I'll probably post that in the next couple of days, so watch out for that as well. If you want to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button below. And also check me out on Twitch every time I stream, every Tuesday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PST. I'll see you then.